Every day, we get messages from people in non tech sales, marketing, and operations asking the same thing. Is it too late for me to learn AI? They feel the ground is shifting, but they don't know where to start. Today's guest didn't just start, he completely redesigned his career. Mayur Wadhwani moved from the front line of non tech sales to tech and AI sales. Mayur, welcome to the show.
You, Kuldeep.
Uh, Before we start our conversation, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Mayur, and I work in AI consulting and sales and solutions at LeewayHertz, which is the part of the Hackett Group. In this role, I help enterprises identify AI opportunities and translate business problems into practical AI solutions. And I've been an entrepreneur before. I have worked all through my career in sales and business development. I have built communities in tech, and today I'm happy to share my insights and my learnings from my life so that you can understand and grow more in your career. What do you-
Sure. Mayur, be honest. Is the move into tech and AI sales is about learning to code, or is it about learning how to solve problem differently?
See, when we transition from non-tech to tech, we always think that if we are transitioning we need to understand how technically things work, how code works, how we program things. However, the most important thing is about mindset. It's not about coding or programming. So if I tell you in my journey, when I was still in a logistics company doing sales of services, I had clear vision that I wanted to shift to tech, and I had clear interest into that. That's when I started a community with some of my friends to understand more about technology, understand more about the recent technology which was going on at that point of time. That was Internet of Things. I'm talking about 2016. That's when I got a lot of similar minded people along, and I started learning more about things, how things work, how from the business side we understand the things, we understand the solution, what a business would want from a technical solution. So that's what gave me the familiarity, and that familiarity eventually made me comfortable talking about tech, made me comfortable with code and programming as well. That's what I would say. Like I said in the beginning, the mindset is what you would want to change. I've seen people who think that they don't know about technology, whereas they've been using it. They've been consuming a lot of tech around that. So moving into tech, I would say, is not about coding or programming. It's more about learning what you know from us from a business point of view. What is the problem their business is trying to solve? What technology can be used to solve that business problem, and what value you can provide to that business using the technology. So let's say if I am starting afresh and if I would want to do that, one thing which I'll be focusing on right now is to shift my mindset that yes, I can do it, and yes, what I need is people who think differently, people who think from the technical perspective, and I be with them, and I start gathering more thoughts around the same, and thinking it's about the business solution which we provide, the technical you know know-how may or may not be there. All you need to do is to understand how technology solve the business problem and what value business can drive from it.
No, you are absolutely correct. And I think this bubble exists not only in the non-tech world, but also within the tech world. When you come to the tech world, then also we start building these boundaries. Hey, I just focus more only on the sales and marketing, so I'm going to focus only on that, not on the operational aspect, not only on the product development aspect. And also, Mayur, we see this challenge also in the India as well, because if you see how we are having our work streams or how we do have like our science, math stream, we do have this mindset. Either it is engineering or nothing. And you broke that mindset. When you decided to move into the AI and tech side of sale, what was the hardest thing to unlearn from your olden sales days?
So from moving, selling services, which was non-AI, or and then moving to selling services which are into AI. And I, rather than focusing on the difference, let me first focus on what is the similarity like. And you will agree that selling services in non-tech, selling services in AI or tech, we are providing the value to the business, right? Businesses are seeking some solution to their problem, and we are solving it, either providing it by some services manually, or doing some of the stuff which are required. Let's say in logistics, we move goods from one place to another, uh, and that gives us value to the business. Similarly, in AI or tech, businesses are seeking value to automate maybe some of their process, to make sure that the tech is able to help them scale these. And that's what we need to understand, that if you as a salesperson, if you as a marketing person is able to understand what is the problem business is trying to solve, you are almost 80%, I would say, there. And rest 20% can be covered by understanding how tech is typically working, what are the different tools which are specific to that business and industry. And when I moved into tech sales, one thing which was common is understanding the business problems, understanding, after talking to the client, what are their pain points. And once those pain points are clear, we, based on our understanding, based on our experience, we give them the solution. And that's where our understanding of technical knowledge and the tools which can be utilized and the frameworks which we can use comes into the play. Because what you are selling is not only services nowadays, you are selling solutions to client, to give them the solution to their problem, and they are ready to pay you accordingly. So, like you asked, learning about the technology was, yes, it was a steep curve. But if you have interest learning that, and if you keep understanding from the client's problem, and then go back and research more onto that. And given that we have a lot of tools nowadays to research about that, learning about that technology is pretty easy. So, for example, if your clients are typically the ones who would want to automate their business processes, you would want to focus on learning maybe more about agentic AI rather than learning machine learning or business analytics or data science kind of thing. So that's the difference. That's where you would be standing out, and that's what I also did since the beginning. When I started, 5 6 years back in technology, AI was not that focused at that point of time. What I did, I started learning from from perspective of building mobile apps, building blockchain based solutions, and also building some of those web applications. And that's where I slowly and gradually started learning this art of learning based on what client is looking for, giving them those solutions, so that you are able to also polish yourself and give the client the value they are looking for.
Yeah. You are absolutely correct, and I think you followed that philosophy that you no need to be an programming language expert to lead an AI-driven product. So now Coming to the GenAI, right? So GenAI has impacted all domains, all sort of life cycle and all. And the sales and marketing is also not, you know, detached from this. We see nowadays sales and marketing people are also heavily using, you know, the GenAI. And this has shifted a structurally as well. How are the best sales and marketing teams in 2026 using GenAI to do the things that seems impossible even like 2 years ago?
You are absolutely right, and AI is affecting sales and marketing in a big way, I would say. And it's not only sales and marketing; there are obviously other functions also involved. Uh, and if I talk about my journey here, how I have transformed the way I reach my customers, way I interact with them. I'll start with a very small example, and it is about AI is changing like every month. But let me give you an example about 2 years back. 2 years back, when I was on call with one of my potential uh, prospect, what I did, I understood their requirement. I understood, what are they looking for, and while I was doing it, I was also giving AI all this context and asked AI to create like a working flow of the same. And by the time client was finished sharing their requirement, I showed them, okay, this is what I've understood, and this is what you're talking about. Is that so? And trust me, the client was so impressed that, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Tell me, how you can help me. And eventually we were able to close that deal. So using AI and using AI at a time which is appropriate, yes. So that's like one way of understanding the client's requirement and converting it in a way that we are able to present it to the client. So that's the one use case which I have seen. Now there are other use cases I'll talk about. The other one which I am using day in day out is when we are on a call, if it is a virtual call with due permission of our prospect or staying client, we make the recording of those or transcript of those. We make sure those recordings, if allowed, if we have the due permission, we process it with AI, make sure that we are not missing any points. We have the right next steps from that meeting. So that's a use case which I would say is not only sales and marketing, even if it is a project management call or something. Many people are already using and they are doing it right. Um, when we are reaching a prospect, imagine making that outreach so personalized that they are forced to respond. And that's what AI, specifically generative AI, can help us to do at scale. That's what we are doing. So that's like the third use case, and we are, always doing it. Um, when it comes to sales, and in my previous days when we used to generate lots and lots of leads, the challenge was who is going to qualify that. So if there are leads, it means that more conversion chances increases, but those has to be filtered lead. Now when AI is in the picture, AI is able to give them a score based on the rules and configurations which we have set in there, and it will give us, okay, this lead sounds to me like 90 out of 100, or this lead sounds to me like 70 out of 100. And that's when we pick that 90 out of 100 first and then 70 out of 100 later. So that's how, and another use case, I would say, which I am doing currently, which I have seen my other sales colleagues in other organizations doing. And there are obviously other details. When I meet a client or prospect customer, obviously I can use AI for doing that deep research. So, doing a deep research using, let's say, Gemini or ChatGPT would take me like 5 to 10 minutes versus doing that research, a dedicated research previously was taking me um, hours. So that's where the time is being saved. Obviously, AI is right now not able to negotiate, do that, or give that human empathy which is required while we talk to the client, but it is able to be giving us a lot of those assistance which can make the time we are spending with the client more productive, and also give them a personalized experience while we are interacting with them, or let's say any communication, any touch points which we are having with them, be it let's say LinkedIn outreach or email outreach, or uh, any personalized messages which we are sharing can be very personalized to them. So these are like some of the top of the mind use cases which I have shared right now, and there can be many more, including creating presentations, creating collaterals, something. This reminds me another use case which I would love to share is, previously, and let's talk about like 2 years back, it would take me days to create a collateral which I can share with the client. And I just gave you an example. When we create these documents, it takes a lot of thoroughness, a lot of detailing which is required, formatting which is required to make sure that those can be shared with the client. Because when we sign, client on board, those details needs to be verified even legally and with those stuff. And there would be multiple round of reviews internally to make sure that we are having it right. However, now the first draft which we get from AI for these documentation, this really helps because we build on top of it. Whereas I was taking days, now we can do it in hours by making sure that we are reviewing it fast and getting it through to the client. So the sales cycle, which was initially taking, which was previously taking like days for me to get back to the client, I can reach back to the client even within same day if that's necessary. So that's how again the client is getting satisfied. Client, they are happy, we are happy, and that's where AI is helping us by augmenting our performance with regards to our response to client, engagement with clients, and helping us convert more by giving them this good experience.
Uh, you are absolutely correct. Human touch is something which will still matter, and specifically in the sales and marketing. However, the repeated thing, whether it is creating those deck or those proposals, they were sounding like very repetitive if you had like the same use case or the same industry covering earlier. However, how you described, right, hey, getting to a potential new client, because sales and marketing is the one who always needs to work with the newer and newer thing. That's where it is helpful. Hey, what are kind of the problem this client is facing, what could be the potential challenge which they are facing, and how our solution could very well fit into it so that they do have this personalized experience. So, Mayur, we had this longer answer, but now we will move towards the smaller answer section, what we call is as the quick fire round. And there are four questions out of this. If you want to answer all four, up to you. But if you want to skip something, that is also absolutely fine. So, starting with the skill set, what is the one skill set from sales that every AI engineer also needs to build?
I would say, for an AI engineer, I would definitely, like I've been saying in my presentation, that it has to be understanding the client's requirement, which I equate to empathy. So, in future, if you see, for an AI engineer to work better, obviously the system design, the architectural judgments, and those stuff is going to stay. But empathy is what I would say is the thing they should understand, because that's how they will be able to create better for the client.
Cool. Also, what is the most overrated AI tool which marketers are using right now?
I've seen people using ChatGPT for their whole marketing thing, and if they are watching this, I would say for every thing or every sub process in the marketing or sales, there are different dedicated tools which exist. So, for example, if I have to create presentation which I need to share with the client or PPT deck, I'll go to Gamma yeah, and create those. Let's say if I have to, maybe build some of these videos which I can use, maybe I'll go to Google VO and create those. Or if I have to build some collaterals, maybe I use Claude and its co-works to create that with the right context into it. So I'll, and just one word answer to your question is move out of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not the only thing in the world.
Correct. Also, there are a lot talk going on that hey, the Gen AI will replace, this entire business development executive or business development life cycle. Do you think it is going to achieve this by 2030?
I don't think so because you know, AI, like I gave you many examples, it is augmenting what we've been doing. It will change, and if AI is doing what we were doing earlier, we may be doing something else or doing those things a little better. So AI cannot bring empathy. AI cannot bring right now even negotiations, which happens. And when it comes to business development, like you asked, yes, I agree. Most of these tasks can be done better using AI, but there is a human judgment and review which is still required, and it would be required to make sure that those steps which we are taking before making the final call or making a final meeting with the client. That's where, yes, if I am saying, will that change the how we do the things right now? Yes, this will change. Not we will not even wait until 2030. Every few months, things are changing, and you need to adopt. If you're adopting, then it's fine. You can augment the thing you have the way you've been working, and I know it's a short answer, but I'll like to give you an example. For example, I've seen business development people who they were doing a lot of these things, like which I talked about, have making an outreach or having the lead scoring things, which been now automated. So now their job roles are changing. They are expected to get more things done, reviewing more leads, getting more research done for the client, because earlier they would do like a research which is like a one page research for the client. Now they are expected to give us more details about the client when we are reaching to client. So that's what is changing. So it's not AI is only uh, leaving them with no work, but AI is allowing them to give more value.
Agree. And also, because you have also done the switch, what is the one biggest mistake which people make or might make when trying to switch to the tech domain?
So, and I'll relay it back to my initial thing. When I also switched, I was thinking to switch to tech. My mind always said, you don't know about anything about tech, just leave it. Or, you are a simple BCom graduate. How you even think about tech? And allow me to also share one small incident from my life. There was this small community which I joined, and we were meeting in person. uh, there was this notepad which was open, and I'm talking about not way back. It was 2016, and six of my friends were looking at it. They were doing something. And my question was, what is this platform you have opened? And they all laughed out and busted in laugh. And that was a embarrassing moment for me, because they said, "Oh, he even don't know about Notepad. He's talking, calling it a platform." But I didn't give in. I was still there with those people who were still talking about tech, still learning from them. And those same people, when they meet me now, they think, okay, the boy who was calling a Notepad a platform had moved from there to here. And how I was able to do it, because I didn't give in. I keep learning the technology from the people around me and starting being comfortable with it. So don't think that you cannot do it. What needs to change is your mindset. It's not that you need to have all the skills. Even today, I do not know all of the things, but I know some of the things, and that give me confidence. And those some of the things are obviously related to the offering which I have, rather than all of the gambit is very big, I would say, huge. So learn related things and feel confident. And if you are feeling down, if you think that you can't do it, so remember my story, a boy who was talking about notepad as a platform and moved to talking about AI platforms and orchestration platforms.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And also, there is one thing called as we write these research paper or we write these sales pitch. I know the answer, but which is still harder to write.
I would say, business paper would be for a person like me, because I've been into sales, in writing a business paper which would require more detailing versus writing a sales pitch would require more understanding the client details and empathy and how do we give them our offering. Um, for me, business papers or the technical things would still be something which will be more difficult. I would, if that's what you are asking, because sales pitch, ask me in the sleep in the night, and I can even pitch you my services.
Oh, totally fine. All right, Mayur. I think your journey proves one thing that this non-tech is just a label. It is not a limit. If you can bridge that gap, anyone with the right curiosity can. So, for those of you in the non-tech space, either in the sales or marketing or in general, is looking to do a change like Mayur, please go ahead and try that. Mayur, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Kuldeep, and all the best, everyone.
All right, that's it for this episode of Techie Talks with Kuldeep. Until next time, keep learning and keep innovating. Thank you for watching.